Hey guys, welcome back. I'm going to be doing a good rant this time, since the last two rants I have been doing have been kind of angry. I am going to talk about my favorite woman wrestler of all time, AJ Lee, and why I think she is the best woman wrestler ever, and why she should be in the Hall of Fame one day. I honestly think she had one of the most successful runs in WWE ever. Next to China and Lita and Trish, I really, really appreciate how hard AJ worked and her constant work ethic to improve the division and break the stereotype of diva. She was a 3-time Diva champ. She won it. Her first one was with Caitlyn in 2013, and then she won it back from Paige twice. She was the longest reigning Divas champion of all time. Still not happy about who broke the record, but whatever. I honestly thought her and Paige had one of the best rivalries ever, like, those two together, and then when they came for their tag team match at WrestleMania, like, those two together could do so much, and I am very sad that neither of them are with the WWE right now, because those two, I could just go on for hours about how amazing and talented they are, and how they bring out the best in each other. It's kind of like a Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins type of thing for me. I also think it's super cool that AJ is one of the few women wrestlers to be undefeated at WrestleMania. I think that's an accomplishment all in itself, and she definitely deserves it. I think it's also important to note that AJ was successful in many areas outside of her wrestling character, one being that she was Raw GM for an extended period of time, and I think she did a good job of delivering that. Regardless of how far this is down the road or if this is going to be anytime soon, but I honestly think WWE would be stupid not to put her in the Hall of Fame. I think she was one of the hardest working people that WWE had during the time she worked for them, and she broke so many glass ceilings. She just changed the entire women's division. I think she was actually the person who started the women's revolution, in my opinion. I just think that she deserves the world and that she should be in the Hall of Fame one day, regardless if it's now or 10, 15, 20 years down the road. Although she was very successful in WWE, regardless of what she did, I think the most important part of who she was is how she was outside of WWE and how she interacted with her fans. She wrote a book called Crazy is My Superpower, and I actually bought 2 copies. One as the actual book so she could sign it when I met her, and then I bought the audiobook too because why the fuck not? If you have not read this book and you are a wrestling fan, struggle with any sort of mental illness, are a female wrestling fan, I would recommend it to the moon and back. I've read it twice now just because I wanted to hear the audiobook too, but it was just so good too that I wanted to hear it a second time. I have looked up to AJ since I saw her in NXT Season 3 because there wasn't many women wrestlers who had or have come through WWE that have been more relatable to me than her. She came from a poor and difficult family background, and so did I. And after reading her book, it was not exactly the same. There was a lot of differences, but there was a few similarities, which I was like, oh, that's kind of, like, it's not cool that we had to go through that, but I think it's cool that you can find those people who you wouldn't think have gone through a situation like that, and they have, and it just makes them that much more inspirational to you. The only time I've ever had the wonderful opportunity to meet this woman was in April of this year. I live 4.5 hours from Chicago, but I have no regrets. The trip was well worth it, and even though I stood in line for an hour and a half, that 5 to 7 minutes I got to spend with her was the best part of my whole trip. It's something I'll never forget, and it's just the way she interacted with me and the way she talked to me. Like, she wasn't above anyone. Like, she came with the sense of, hey, you're a fan, but I'm going to talk to you like we've been friends for years. which is how the way she made me feel. And even though I did bawl my eyes out when I first met her, and I was so mad at myself, I just, like, she was so sweet about it. And if anyone who is listening ever has that opportunity to go meet her, I would tell you not to hesitate. Go for it, because you won't regret it. She makes you feel important. She makes you feel like that she's there for just you. I know she's not, but that's how she makes you feel. She makes you feel important for a good 5 minutes. And I'll never be able to thank AJ enough for that. And it's something I will cherish for the rest of my life. AJ Lee will always be in the record books as one of the best women wrestlers of all time. And regardless if you like her personally or not, you can't argue that. With the 3 times she won the Divas Championship, the 2-time Slammy winner, being Queen of FCW, having the main roster storylines with people like Dolph Ziggler, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, John Cena, Kane, whoever. When she became the longest reigning Divas champ, when she was Raw GM, and being the first female to have her own merch in the WWE shop, you cannot deny her success in WWE. And even though she is no longer with the WWE, I hope one day that WWE realizes what a gift AJ is. And regardless if she returns to in-ring action or not, she deserves to be put in the Hall of Fame. And no one can take that away from her. Well, that's all for this video that I have for you guys. If you liked this rant, and if you would like to see more, or what you would like me to rant about, please leave that in the comments below, as I am very curious of what you guys would want to hear from me next. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe if you're new, and I will see you all in my next video.